our sugar detox is one of the retreats that I get asked the most amount of questions about, both from people who are considering coming on retreat, but also people who are on other retreats. They're very intrigued by the sugar detox and how it's so different from our weight loss and wellness retreats. And it's really a great opportunity to be able to have the time to talk to people about why it is so different. Because of all of the retreats that we run, it is the retreat that is the most robust. It is probably the one that is the biggest challenge for people to do. And that's in part because changing your relationship with sugar and how we do it here at the Body Retreat is really all about resetting factory settings within the body and the brain. Because very often people will say to me, I don't really have a problem with sugar. I rarely would want a sweet treat. But then they'll go on to tell me about how the fact that they can't open a packet of crisps without chomping the whole lot, that they love a pot of mango, one of their little sweet treats to have, that they adore sweet jacket potatoes, love a big plate of corn and peas and beans, not realizing that actually they're consuming a lot of starch. So when we at the Body Retreat are talking about sugar, we're really talking about the whole gambit of sugar, not just the sweet stuff. We're talking about the hidden sugars in everyday processed foods. We're talking about the natural sugars that we're eating within fruit and vegetables and whole grains. And we're also talking about those elective sugars when we know we're having a sweet treat. And what I have found in my experience is that because there is so much hidden sugar and natural sugar consumption, that it drives up the desire to have these elective sugars, and it really undermines our health and our well-being. Sugar, starch, glucose, whatever you want to call it, any of the O's, really can take a bit of a stranglehold on your health, wellness and weight management. It changes your taste buds, it changes your brain chemistry, it imbalances your energy levels, imbalances your blood sugar levels, it imbalances hormones. The list of things that sugar negatively impacts is a long one. And so when we're looking at changing our relationship with sugar at the Body Retreat, it's not a 1-week residential course. And anyone that tells you there's a quick fix to change your relationship with sugar is lying to you. Let me be very clear. Because undoing the stranglehold of sugar, starch, glucose, whatever you want to call it, has on your health and well-being takes time. And that's why our sugar detox program is actually a 6-week program. The week before you come on a retreat, we send you some notes and tips and a meal plan to follow to start to reduce out some of those sugars and things that perhaps you're relying on to get you through the day rather than whole foods. Then we have the week's residential. I'm going to come back to that in a second. And then there's the 4-week at-home plan where we're reintroducing all of the natural sugars and really getting to a point where you are starting to enjoy some elective sugars, thinking about how to build a long-lasting lifetime relationship where you have the 80-20 principle, where 80% of the time you're eating clean whole foods, close to nature, minimally processed, and 20% of the time you enjoy what I would call a little bit of crap. Because life is all about balance, and for us that's a really important part, and we want to support women to get to that point. Now, in the past, I have been asked several times, can we develop a sugar detox retreat for home, and could we do something for men? And the answer for both of those is always no. First of all, can you do the sugar detox at home? My honest professional opinion is actually probably not. Because when you remove the sugars and starches from your daily diet and you're asking the body to make some adaptations, both biochemically and physiologically, your energy levels are going to take a dive. Your brain chemistry is going to go a bit doolally for probably about 24-48 hours, depending on your relationship with sugars. And that's the time. And if you've been somebody who perhaps in the past has tried to change your relationship with sugars, or you've tried to do an at-home sugar detox, I'll almost guarantee you that on day 3, you would sell your soul to Satan for a bit of carbohydrates. Am I right? And when you're at home and you've got a family to look after, you've got jobs to be doing, tasks to be achieving, you've got to go to work, you've got to be out and about. If your energy levels are in the toilet, if your brain chemistry is feeling out of balance, if you're feeling foggy, heavy, lethargic, tired, real life is almost impossible. So what do? You give in, you have a little bit of starch, and therefore you start the vicious cycle all over again. Now, I just want to be clear before anybody says there is nothing wrong with whole starches within the diet, whole food starch sources within the diet. I could do a whole video on that just to begin with. But when we are looking at changing taste buds, brain chemistry, hunger hormones, and everything else, we need to be managing all of the sources of sugar within our daily diet, and that includes those starches. We also don't offer this this retreat for men. Now, none of our retreats are for men, but it's the one retreat that we're always asked about because of the high incidence of male insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes, which our retreat supports. And the reason for that is our retreats have a very big psychological element to them. And the psychological relationship that a lot of women have with sugars and starches, in that energy prop or reward systems or treating themselves or pain or conflict avoidance, or for the many myriad of reasons that a lot of women get into an imbalanced relationship with sugars and starches, we go into that on this retreat. And that isn't necessarily something that men have in the same degree. Not all men, let's be honest, but most men do not have an emotional relationship with food. Some do, but most don't. Most women have some element of an emotional relationship. And so we dive into that in quite a big way. So that's why our Sugar Detox retreat will always be a residential retreat for women only, because it is the best way to really break that habit of a lifetime of a reliance on sugar / starches / carbohydrates to prop up your energy levels as your way to self-soothe or self-medicate, and actually free yourself from that stranglehold. And that's what our Sugar Detox retreat is all about.